Sometimes success is not about fireworks or grand gestures. It isn't about leaping over mountains or breaking records. Often, success is nothing more than refusing to let go when others would. It is the persistence to stay on the path when it would be easier to walk away. Thomas Edison once said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Think about that. People stopping just inches from the finish line because it felt too far. Success is not magic, it is vision and endurance. It's believing when others doubt, it's seeing possibility when the world sees only limits. It's taking the images in your mind and summoning the courage to make them real. This journey is never linear. Some days, progress feels like momentum, and every step forward excites you. Other days, progress feels invisible, and sometimes you're knocked down so hard, you wonder if you've lost it all. In those moments, it's easy to believe failure has won simply because the world didn't applaud or validate your effort. But progress is not defined by applause. It is a journey that moves when you move and halts only when you quit. The Dalai Lama captured this truth perfectly. The only way to fail is to quit. People rarely stop because they cannot. They stop because they convince themselves they shouldn't continue. They see a mountain and call it impossible, forgetting it is built from tiny stones. They see the finish line and feel overwhelmed, forgetting it is reached by small steps, one after another. I know this because I've lived it. I've poured myself into projects that no one seemed to notice. I've invested in opportunities that crumbled before my eyes. I've been lost, disheartened, and left questioning everything. Each time, it felt like the end of the world. And yet, there was one choice I never questioned. I got up and tried again. My plan for tomorrow never changed. Whether life lifted me or broke me, I kept going. And that is the truth I'd share with anyone starting out today. Keep going. Keep taking steps. Because one day you'll look back and be grateful, not for how easy it was, but for the single fact that when most would have stopped, you didn't. When the world told you no, you chose yes. There is nothing more powerful than a soul that refuses to bow to defeat. Existence is not simply important, it is everything. Live, not in fear of what can be lost, but with the vision of what can be gained. Even in darkness, find the spark. Every loss makes you stronger. Every heartbreak widens your capacity to love. Every moment of fear makes you braver. These struggles aren't detours, they are your teachers. So when the world feels heavy and your patience runs thin, remember this: you are greater than the voice in your head that begs you to quit. Let every experience, good or bad, lift you toward a brighter tomorrow. If there is time to turn things around. If there is a tomorrow, there is hope today. Most of the obligations we cling to are self-made cages. Often, without realizing it, we are the ones holding up the walls around us. Every morning, I ask myself a simple question: am I living today as a burden or as an opportunity? Am I merely repeating yesterday, or am I deliberately creating a tomorrow that excites me? These are not small questions. I've lived both ways, and I felt both realities. I remember working jobs where I secretly wished for distractions like a flat tire, just so I didn't have to go in. That was not life. That was survival. That was drifting like a jellyfish on the tide. Purpose lives in agency. Life changes when you stop watching through the window and decide to sit behind the wheel. Why do we live the way we live? Why do we accept things we've long outgrown? So many of life's patterns exist because we've never stopped to ask why. Some of my greatest turning points came when someone I respected looked me in the eye and asked, "Why have you accepted this? Why that income? Why that routine? Why that limitation?" When forced to look closer, truths emerge. Shadows reveal themselves. And most often, the excuse lurking there is, "Because that's how I've always done it." But life gives you what you tolerate. You are what you allow yourself to be. If you never ask which mountains are worth climbing or which oceans are worth crossing, you remain a passenger in your own life, at the mercy of the tides, when mastery is waiting for those willing to take the wheel. So here are a few reminders to carry with you. First, you are bound by nothing. The limits around you are self-imposed. You can change direction, you can choose a new beginning. To not move forward is fine, but remember, it's a decision, one you may later regret. Second, the difficulty you face today is what will free you tomorrow. Yes, it's easier to watch from the sidelines. It's easier to wish things were different than to make them different. But growth hides in discomfort. Stepping into the chaos of life is terrifying, but it is also where you discover yourself. If there's time, there's a chance to begin again. If there's tomorrow, there is still hope today. Now let's draw a crucial distinction. Simple is not the same as easy. Becoming the person you dream of is simple. The path is straightforward, but it is not easy. Walking is simple, but climbing a mountain is not easy. The action is the same, but the context is harder. Growth works the same way. It is not that most people can't. It is that most people won't. They don't lack the how, they lack the why. Yesterday's courage created today's comfort. What was once terrifying is now normal. The ceiling you fought to touch is now the floor beneath your feet. Which means the question must be asked again. What's next? Step 1. Realize there is always more. What you see now as impossible will one day feel ordinary. Step 2. Acquire new courage. The bravery that carried you here will not be enough to take you further. You must step into discomfort again and again because life's greatest treasures are hidden there. Step 3. Embrace mistakes. Mistakes are not the enemy. They are the curriculum of growth. They sting because they matter. They hurt because they are shaping you. When others run from failure, run toward it because hidden within is your potential. Step 4. Trust yourself. Not when it's easy, but when it's hardest. Growth is exponential, and even your smallest efforts compound into greatness over time. Repetition and adjustment, over and over again, that is how masterpieces are built. Finally, step 5. Celebrate and adjust. At some point, you will look back and notice how far you've come. Not overnight, but steadily, step by step. Those moments are precious. Celebrate them. Acknowledge your sacrifices and victories. Let them remind you that you are becoming someone greater. And then, raise your expectations. Because what was once a mountaintop is now your foundation. What was once a dream is now your reality. And with each new level, the process begins again. This is life's cycle of growth. Simple, yes. Easy, no. But you are not here for easy. You are here for the journey, for the challenge, for the transformation. And when you choose to endure, to keep going despite everything, you will discover that decision was the greatest victory of all. The greatest battles you will ever fight are not outside in the world, but within the silent walls of your own mind. Every thought you allow to live inside your head has the power to either build you up or slowly destroy you. Most people lose this war without ever realizing it. They become prisoners of their own negative thinking, slaves to fear, doubt, anger, and distraction. But you don't have to live that way. The Stoics taught that mastery over the mind is mastery over life. If you learn to control your thoughts, you can control your emotions, your actions, and ultimately, your destiny. Your mind is a weapon, and like any weapon, it can be dangerous if left uncontrolled. Think about it. When you let fear dominate your thoughts, it paralyzes you. When you feed anger, it blinds you. When you entertain doubt, it weakens you. But when you sharpen your mind with discipline, resilience, and clarity, it becomes the most powerful tool in existence. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Strength does not come from the chaos around you, it comes from the order within you. Thomas Edison once said, "The chief function of the body is to carry the brain around." In other words, your body is just the vehicle. The real battlefield is in your head. And the truth is, most people are walking around with weapons they don't know how to use. They shoot themselves down with self-doubt before the world even has a chance to test them. They sabotage their potential by filling their minds with fear, laziness, and excuses. But the wise sharpen their thoughts. They train their minds to see clearly, to cut through illusions, to aim their focus with precision. The Dalai Lama once said, "Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace." That is the essence of mental strength. People will insult you, disrespect you, even try to provoke you. But what happens inside your mind is your choice. You can allow their words to wound you, or you can remain untouchable. Silence, discipline, and control are far stronger than anger or retaliation. The Stoic warrior does not waste energy on battles that do not matter. He saves his strength for the real wars, within himself. Consider this story of Will Smith. He once described being placed into a military-style training exercise where his task was simple but brutal: to build a wall. Day after day, brick by brick, he and his brother worked under the sun, feeling overwhelmed by the endless task. At first, the wall seemed impossible, and doubt crept into his mind. But then he realized something profound. You don't build a wall. You lay one brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid. Then you lay another, and another. Eventually, the wall is there. This is how the mind should work, not drowning in the enormity of the future, but focused on the power of the present moment. Every Stoic understood this truth. Marcus Aurelius did not waste time worrying about what might happen 10 years from now. Epictetus did not fill his mind with what-ifs. They focused only on the present thought, the present action, the present decision. Your mind becomes unstoppable when you master this discipline. One thought at a time, one choice at a time, one action at a time. This is how great empires were built. This is how lives are transformed, not through chaos and distraction, but through clarity and focus. So how do you sharpen your mind, this most dangerous weapon? First, protect it. Be ruthless about what you allow inside. Negative people, toxic environments, endless noise from media, these are poisons. Would you ever pour poison onto your weapon? No, then do not pour poison into your mind. Second, train it daily. Read, reflect, meditate, write. Feed it with wisdom instead of garbage. Third, discipline it. Do not allow every emotion to run wild inside of you. Anger, fear, jealousy, these are fires that will burn you if left uncontrolled. Remember, the mind is like a garden. If you do not plant flowers, weeds will grow by themselves. If you do not train your thoughts, your weaknesses will take over. People who fail in life often fail not because of others, but because they lose the battle inside their own heads. They talk themselves out of opportunities. They convince themselves that they're not good enough. They let temporary emotions dictate permanent choices. But those who master their minds, they master the game of life. So today I challenge you, take control of your weapon. When fear arises, remind yourself, it is only a thought. When anger tempts you, remember, it is only a reaction. When doubt creeps in, say, it is only noise. You are not your thoughts. You are the commander of them. And when you learn to command your mind, you become untouchable. The world cannot break someone who has already mastered themselves. Your mind is a weapon. Sharpen it daily. Protect it fiercely. And use it with wisdom. Because once you master this, no enemy, no setback, no chaos can ever defeat you. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. अपने आप को आजाद कर दो। आखिर कौन सी चीज़ तुम्हें रोक रही है अगर तुम खुद को ही माना नहीं कर सकते? हम अक्सर सोचते हैं कि सबसे बड़ी मुश्किल वो दर्द है, वो उलझन है, वो अनजाना जो समझ में नहीं आता। लेकिन सच ये है कि ये सब सिर्फ नतीजे हैं, नतीजे उन चीज़ों के जो मायने रखती हैं। असल दुश्मन वो आवाज़ है जो तुमसे कहती है, थोड़ा देर चलो, रुक जाओ, जब तुम खुद उस मुश्किल का सामना कर रहे हो। अगर तुम अपनी ज़िंदगी में ये फ़र्क कर सको, काम और उस काम से पैदा होने वाली तकलीफ के बीच फासला बनाना, तो कोई भी चीज़ तुम्हें धीमा नहीं कर सकती। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि तुम हमेशा अपने दिमाग को बंद रखो। सोचने की सलाहियत तुम्हारा सब कुछ है, लेकिन कभी कभी सोच को रोकना ज़रूरी होता है। ओवरथिंकिंग बैन करके सीधा एक्शन चाहिए। सिंपल, काम, रिएक्शन, एक और मील, पास। 1 मिनट बर्पीज। शुरू। इमोशंस को प्रोसेस से अलग करो। अंदर चल रही उस शक की आवाज़ को बंद के हो, क्या ये ठीक है? ना। असाइनमेंट, जाओ। अगला काम। तुमने पहले सोच लिया था, अब तलवार उठाकर मैदान में कूदो। अब ये इंस्टिंक्ट बन गया, वो चीज़ जो करनी थी और उसमें दर्द होगा। हमेशा घर बैठ के रहना एक चॉइस थी, पर तुमने मिरर में देखा, मुश्किल रास्ता ही कीमती है। अब तुम उस रास्ते पर हो, शेरन के सामने खड़े, तलवारें टकरा रही हैं, पीछे मुड़ने का वक्त नहीं। जब तुम अपनी दुनिया को सिर्फ ऑब्जेक्टिव एक्शन मीन सिंप्लीफाई कर दोगे, तो सिर्फ आगे बढ़ना बचेगा। कभी कभी बस इतना चाहिए, एक कदम और, एक सेट और, एक रेप और, एक कोशिश और। कोई नेगोशिएशन, कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं, सिर्फ अनाज बराबर चलने की डिसिप्लिन। एक और बार, ऑडियंस हो या ना हो, ये सिंप्लीफाइड फोकस ही तुम्हारा काम करेगा। रास्ता आसान नहीं था। इस लम्हे आए जब तुम समझते थे कि तुम जानते हो, लेकिन असल में नहीं जानते थे। जो प्लान्स तुमने बनाए थे, किस्मत ने उनको बदल दिया। वो पल जिसमें तुमने खुद से सवाल किया, मेरा मकसद क्या है? वो छह दिल को छू जाने वाले पल है। अक्सर हम गुजरे हुए कल की छत में फंस जाते हैं। वो ओ लला मिथे लम्हे नहीं जो हम कभी वापस ला सकते, वो तलाश और वो रिग्रेट जो हमको पीछे खींचता है। लेकिन इस दर्द का मतलब ये ना है कि तुम बंद हो जाओ, बल्कि ये एक चांस है। उस दर्द को मल्टीप्लायर बनाओ, न कि जस्टिफाई करने का बहाना। जितनी बार तुमने फेल किया उतनी बार तुमने कुछ सीखा। तुम्हारी थकान चुपकर तुम्हें रूहानी तौर पर तैयार कर रही है, मगर तुम्हें पिछाना होगा। तुम्हें पीछे मुड़ के देखना होगा ताकि मालूम हो कि कितना दूर आ चुके हो। रुकावटें बड़ी नजर आती हैं क्योंकि तुम आगे बढ़ चुके हो। जिंदगी कठिन नहीं हुई, तुम बड़े हो गए हो। एक छोटी सी हिम्मत ने तुम्हारा जगाया, इसलिए आज तुम इतना सब बर्दाश्त कर सकते हो। तो सवाल यह है, क्या तुम निकलोगे? क्या तुम वल्नरेबिलिटी को कमजोरी नहीं समझोगे बल्कि उसे शक्ति समझे? वल्नरेबिलिटी मतलब ये कि तुम टूटते खोने की सूरत में भी खुद को पेश कर दो। इसमें रिस्क है, मगर ये वही दरवाज़ा है जो तुम्हें नई दुनिया तक ले जाएगा। अगर तुम चाहते हो कि तुम्हारा दिल फिर से प्यार करे, फिर से बढ़े, फिर से कोशिश करे, तो ये हिम्मत चाहिए होगी। यह आसान नहीं होगा, टाइमिंग कभी परफेक्ट नहीं लगती, लेकिन फैसला हमेशा तुम्हारे ही करीब रहता है, सिर्फ एक हाथ की डोरी पर। क्या तुम इतनी हिम्मत जमा करोगे जब वक्त तुम्हारा पीठ के अगेंस्ट हो? तुम बढ़ते हो, जब गाड़ी चल रही हो तुम जवाब ढूंढते हो, अंधेर में तुम रोशनी ढूंढते हो। दर्द से तुम्हारा मकसद निकलेगा, यही पैराडॉक्स है। मैं 2014 को याद करता हूँ, बॉस्टन में घूमता, नौकरी छोड़ चुका, यूट्यूब और पॉडकास्ट आइडिया था लेकिन कुछ नहीं आता था। ऑडियो वीडियो बिजनेस कुछ भी, पर सबसे ज्यादा जिंदगी की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को समझने से पहले मैं न जाने में सिंपल रहना सीख गया। वो रिस्क फ्री बॉक्स जिसमें मैं हमेशा छुपा रहता था, उसे निकालना ही सब कुछ बदल गया। मैंने ये सीखा, तुम किसी काम पर मेहनत कर सकते हो और शुरू में कुछ नहीं मिलता, कुछ नहीं। जब तक तुम अपनी नफरत, अपने फक्र का दिल खाश न देख लो, जब तक दोस्तों का साथ छूट न जाए, जब तक तुम खुद पे शक करने न लगो। ये सब बहुत रॉ, बहुत इंसानी इमोशंस हैं जो नई चीज शुरू करने पर आते हैं, मगर इनके अंदर वो रोशनी होती है जहां से रास्ता निकलता है। मैंने समझा कि ही पाते हैं जो हम बर्दाश्त करते हैं, और ये सोच अनोखी थी। हम उस चीज को पाते हैं जो हम बर्दाश्त करते हैं, ना कि जो हम बस चाहते हैं। एक मिसाल एथलेटिक्स, मैं दौड़ता हूँ, अब इंटरवल ट्रेनिंग करता हूँ, पर फिलॉसफी वही है। मैं खुद से नेगोशिएट नहीं करता। जब डर होता है, वो डर ही निशानी होती है कि कोई नया मकसद करीब है। मैंने अपने आप को सिखाया कि यस पे चलना बिना ज्यादा सोच के। जब तुम अपने दिमाग को पहले से फैसला करने दो, तो जब वक्त आए तुम बिना सोचे अमल कर जाते हो। क्योंकि डॉटेड लाइन पे पहले से सीन हो चुकी होती है। ये मेरा ब्रेक थ्रू था। करने को दर्द से अलग कर दो। दर्द सिर्फ एक हिस्सा है, काम ऑब्जेक्टिव को फॉलो करना जरूरी है। इस सब का मकसद सीधा है, अपनी जिंदगी को छोटे मैनेजेबल कदम तो दो। एक और रैप, एक और कॉल, एक और छोटी सी कोशिश। जब तुम ये कंसिस्टेंसी बना लो तो जिंदगी बदल जाती है। दर्द और फेलियर से डरना छोड़ो, उनको दोस्ती बनाओ, क्योंकि न करने वाली जिंदगी महंगी पड़ती है, शायद, और अगर जिंदगी को ज्यादा महंगा बना देते हैं। अगर तुम्हारा दिल किसी चीज की तरफ खींच रहा है, चाहे वो यूट्यूब हो, पब्लिक स्पीकिंग हो या कोई नया करियर, तो वो तुम्हारा काम है। जब तुम फैसला करते हो, तुम अपनी रियलिटी का नक्शा बदलते हो और अगला कदम लेना आसान हो जाता है। आखिर में ये लड़ाई तुम्हारे और तुम्हारे बीच है। बाहर के मुश्किल वाकई मुश्किल बना सकते हैं, मगर वो तुम्हें रोक नहीं सकते जब तुम खुद अपना रास्ता नहीं रोक देते। तुम ड्राइवर हो, कितना आगे जाना है, कितनी बर्दाश्त करनी है, यह सब तुम्हारे हाथ में है। मैंने सबको ऐसे ही नहीं कह रहा। ये मेरी कहानी है। वो दर्द जो मेरा दिल हिला देता था, वो पल जब मिक मेरे हाथ में था और मेरे घुटने कांपते थे, लेकिन जब मैंने खुद कर सब कुछ बांध दिया तो लोगों को वो अच्छा लगा। दर्द का जो झटका होता है वो बता देता है कि तुम कुछ पैदा करने वाले हो। दर्द ही अक्सर वो दावत है जो तुम्हें अपग्रेड कर देती है। वो भूत जो तुम्हारा दुश्मन लगता है असल में तुम्हारा दोस्त है। इसलिए तुम्हें अपना रिस्क फ्री कंफर्ट जोन छोड़ना होगा। अपने अंदर की डिफॉल्ट दुनिया जो तुम्हें सिर्फ अभी को प्रिजर्व करना कहती है, यूज निकाल दो। जैसे पुराने स्टॉक स्पीकर्स को निकाल कर अच्छे स्पीकर्स लगाना, अपनी इंटरनल आवाज़ों को अपग्रेड करो। जब बाकी लोग मोशन में स्कैटर हो रहे हों, तुम स्टैंडिंग टॉल रे कर एडवांटेज दन दो। छोटी छोटी हिम्मत की हर एक्शन तुम्हें ज्यादा ताकतवर बनाती है। अगर तुम करना चाहते हो Shayad wo YouTube channel na ho, shayad ye kishi or cheese ka call ho. But agar tum apne dil ki sunoge or cheese ke liye kudog, to harjit dono ayengi. Farki hoga ki tumin se sikoge or agla kadam or behtar log. Jab temptation hogi ke wapas jao, ye comfort choose karo. Yad rakna, kochka wo kena jo walsit karte hui ketada. Push through. Basit nahi. Push. Life can feel overwhelming when you stare at the whole mountain. But what if you broke it down into windows of time? You can endure almost anything for 15 seconds. Pain, fear, hesitation, each becomes manageable when compartmentalized. The Stoics knew that the mind exaggerates difficulties by making them infinite. But when you shrink a trial into a short span, it becomes bearable. Darkness stops being a prison and becomes your invitation to be the light. Greatness does not arrive in perfect conditions. It comes when you lean into discomfort. You don't wait for the right moment. You create it. Every great transformation begins with courage, and courage begins in the moment you least want to act. We imagine the wall too high, the task too great, the chaos too uncontrollable. But moving forward anyway ignites power. By stepping into the storm, you simultaneously create the calm. The very act of leaning into fear gives rise to clarity. Resistance dissolves when faced directly, because avoidance is what magnifies it. Vulnerability unlocks strength, not weakness. You are not fragile, you are untested. When you embrace the trial, the best version of you emerges. But modern life has trained us to flee from silence, to run from thought, and to drown in distraction. We reach for our phones instinctively, searching for dopamine, for noise, for anything to avoid being alone with ourselves. Cal Newport calls this the death of deep work. We live in a world that demands clarity, but encourages chaos. And in this contradiction, we lose ourselves. Attention is the most valuable currency, yet most of us spend it carelessly. The Stoic warrior, however, guards his attention with his life. Because where attention goes, destiny follows. The truth is, technology is not evil, it is powerful. Like fire, it can warm you or burn you. Like water, it sustains life or drowns it. Like the sun, it gives energy or destroys what stays exposed too long. The tool is not the problem, the wielder is. Balance is everything. If you allow yourself to be consumed by constant noise, you outsource your thinking. You give away your future. But when you discipline your use of tools, you remain the master. The Stoic never blames the tool. He masters his own hand. Habits carry us forward when the mind resists. Driving a car, tying your shoes, brushing your teeth, these do not drain willpower. Routine frees the brain, but if life becomes all habit, you stop questioning, you stop growing. Reflection is the compass. Without it, you walk in circles, never knowing why. To step outside the loop is painful because self-examination reveals truths you may not like. But this is where freedom begins. The unexamined life is not only unworthy, it is unguarded. And an unguarded mind becomes its own enemy. Solitude is the cave you fear to enter, and inside it lies the treasure you seek. Joseph Campbell spoke this truth, and the Stoics lived it. Silence is not emptiness, it is the forge of clarity. Yet people today treat solitude like a monster. They drown it with media, chatter, and endless scrolling. But solitude is not your enemy, it is your salvation. When you walk alone, without distraction, you meet yourself. And that meeting is the most important one you will ever have. To know yourself is to master the battlefield of life. Try this. Take a short walk with no phone, no noise, no input. At first, you will feel restless. Your hand will twitch, reaching for distraction. But soon, your mind begins to speak. Ideas emerge, reflections take form, gratitude surfaces. Even discomfort teaches you. The process itself is valuable. Sometimes the thoughts are random. Sometimes they strike like lightning. One idea, one realization, one spark can shift the trajectory of your life. But only if you give silence a chance. Only if you make room for your own voice. The world will tell you that busyness is success, that constant motion equals progress. But the Stoics knew better. The question is not how fast you move, but whether you move in the right direction. Solitude helps you adjust the sails. Without reflection, you drift with the wind. With reflection,